You don't lack talent. You don't lack intelligence. You don't even lack motivation. What you lack is focus. And this isn't an insult. It's a diagnosis. Right now, somewhere deep inside you, there is more potential than you've ever been able to express, more discipline than you've ever shown, more ability than your life currently reflects. But it's trapped. Not because you're weak, but because your attention is being pulled in 100 different directions. Focus is the currency of success in the modern world, and most people are completely broke. Every achievement you admire, every great career, every transformation, every extraordinary result was built on one thing first: sustained attention. Yet today, distraction is everywhere. And it's not accidental. Your phone, your notifications, your endless scrolling, your constant urge to check, switch, consume. These systems were engineered to hijack your mind, quietly, efficiently, relentlessly. So if you've ever felt busy but unfulfilled, motivated but inconsistent, ambitious but stuck, this is about you. This audiobook is not about doing more. It's about reclaiming what's already yours, your ability to concentrate, to finish, to go deep. And by the end of this audiobook, you'll understand exactly why your focus is broken and how to rebuild it. We live in what is called the attention economy. In the past, success belonged to those who worked the hardest. Today, it belongs to those who can focus the longest. Your attention is no longer just a personal resource. It is a product. Every app, every platform, every notification, every alert is competing for one thing: your mind. Because whoever controls your attention controls your time, and whoever controls your time controls your life. This is why focus has become a superpower. Not because it makes you more productive, but because it makes you rare. Most people today cannot sit with one task for more than a few minutes without feeling the urge to switch, check, or escape. They call this multitasking. But multitasking is a myth. The human brain cannot focus on two important things at once. What it actually does is switch rapidly from one task to another, burning energy every time it changes direction. This constant switching creates the illusion of productivity, while quietly destroying depth, quality, and clarity. You may feel busy, you may feel exhausted, but very little of real value gets created. This is what we call shallow work. Shallow work is easy to start. It gives quick rewards. It makes you feel involved, and in the short term, it is often rewarded. Quick replies, visible activity, immediate feedback. But over time, shallow work leads to shallow results. No mastery, no leverage, no meaningful progress. Meanwhile, deep, focused work feels uncomfortable. It demands patience. It demands boredom. It demands resistance. And that's exactly why it works. Because while everyone else is reacting, scrolling, switching, and consuming, the focused few are building. This is the hidden truth most people never learn. The world doesn't reward effort. It rewards attention applied consistently. Not once, not occasionally, but day after day. Focus turns average ability into extraordinary output. It compresses years of effort into months of progress. It separates those who dream from those who finish. In a distracted world, the ability to focus deeply is not just an advantage, it is survival. If you struggle to focus, the first thing you need to understand is this: your brain isn't broken. It's overstimulated. Nothing is wrong with you. What you're experiencing is the natural result of living in a world that never stops demanding your attention. From the moment you wake up, information begins to pour in. Messages, news, videos, notifications, endless updates. Your mind never gets a chance to rest. And over time, something subtle happens. Your brain begins to crave stimulation, not meaning, not progress, just the next hit of novelty. You open your phone without thinking. You check one thing, then another. Minutes disappear. Not because you're lazy, but because your brain has been trained to seek quick rewards. This is the real enemy of focus. Not lack of willpower, not lack of ambition, but constant dopamine loops. Every scroll promises something new. Every notification offers a tiny rush. And each one pulls your attention just a little further away from the work that actually matters. Deep work feels slow by comparison, quiet, demanding, and so the mind resists it. This is why motivation fails. Motivation is an emotion. It rises and falls. It disappears the moment discomfort appears. When your brain is overstimulated, it doesn't want effort. It wants ease. It doesn't want progress. It wants pleasure. So when people say, "I just can't stay focused," what they really mean is, "My mind has been trained to escape difficulty." But training can be reversed. Focus is not lost. It's buried, under constant input. You consume all day, but rarely create. You absorb endless information, but give yourself no space to think. And without space, focus cannot exist. This audiobook is not asking you to fight your brain. It's teaching you to calm it. Because once stimulation is reduced, once input is controlled, once silence is reintroduced, focus begins to return naturally, not through force, but through relief. Remember this, your brain isn't broken. It's overstimulated, and anything that was trained can be retrained. Distraction doesn't usually destroy a life all at once. It does it quietly. One unfinished goal at a time. One postponed decision at a time. One, "I'll do it tomorrow," at a time. Think about the goals you once cared deeply about. The habits you promised yourself you would build, the skills you meant to learn, the version of yourself you were excited to become. Now ask yourself, honestly, how many goals did you start but never finish? Not because you gave up intentionally, but because your attention slowly drifted away. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and eventually, the goal disappeared. Not with failure, but with forgetting. This is the real cost of distraction. It's not just lost time, it's lost direction. When your focus is fragmented, your energy is scattered. You wake up tired. You go to bed mentally exhausted. Not from meaningful work, but from constant stimulation. Your mind never fully rests, yet it never fully engages. You feel busy all day, but strangely unfulfilled at night. Because being occupied is not the same as making progress. Distraction creates a special kind of fatigue, one that sleep doesn't fix. It's the fatigue of attention pulled in too many directions, of thoughts never completed, of efforts never brought to completion. And over time, something even more dangerous happens. You begin to doubt yourself. You start believing the problem is discipline, or intelligence, or motivation. But the truth is simpler. You were never fully present long enough to give your best effort a chance to work. So ask yourself another question. How many hours were lost without memory? Hours spent scrolling, switching, consuming, without recall, without satisfaction, without meaning. Hours that didn't build anything. Hours that didn't move you forward. A distracted life doesn't feel tragic in the moment. It feels normal. And that's what makes it dangerous. Because without awareness, years can pass, and nothing truly changes. This audiobook exists to interrupt that pattern. Not with guilt, not with pressure, but with clarity. Because once you see the cost of distraction clearly, you stop tolerating it. And that's when real change begins. Here is the truth most people never hear. Focus is not something you're born with. It's something you build. Some people were not gifted with better concentration. They were simply trained, slowly, quietly, over time. Which means this is not about personality. It's not about intelligence. And it's certainly not about luck. Focus is a skill. And like any skill, it improves with practice and weakens with neglect. This is important because many people are waiting for motivation to save them. They tell themselves, when I feel motivated, I'll focus. When I feel inspired, I'll begin. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. It disappears at the first sign of resistance. It fades when the work becomes repetitive or uncomfortable. Discipline is different. Discipline does not depend on emotion. It does not wait for the perfect mood. It moves forward quietly, even when motivation is absent. And focus is built through discipline, not excitement. Small, consistent rituals train your attention far more effectively than bursts of intense effort. 5 minutes of deliberate focus every day will outperform 1 hour of distracted work once a week. This is how attention is rewired, not through force, but through repetition. Your brain learns what you repeatedly ask it to do. If you constantly switch tasks, it learns distraction. If you constantly consume, it learns passivity. But if you consistently return to one thing, even gently, it learns focus. This is why goals alone are not enough. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your focus habits. Goals point the direction. Habits determine the destination. And the good news is this: you don't need perfect discipline. You don't need extreme routines. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. You only need to train your attention a little more today than you did yesterday. Because once focus becomes a habit, progress stops feeling like a struggle. It becomes a natural outcome. And from here forward, everything begins to change. Focus is not one single state. It exists in levels. Most people talk about focus as if you either have it or you don't. But in reality, attention deepens in stages. Understanding these stages is important because many people quit too early, not realizing they were simply at the wrong level. There are 3 levels of focus: surface focus, sustained focus, and deep focus. Let's begin with the first, surface focus. Surface focus is basic concentration. It's the ability to pay attention for a short period of time without immediately reaching for distraction. This is what it feels like when you sit down to read a few pages, listen carefully for a few minutes, or complete a simple task without interruption. Most people live almost entirely at this level. And even here, many struggle. Surface focus is blocked by constant interruptions, notifications, background noise, the habit of checking just one more thing. Because when your mind is trained for stimulation, even a few minutes of quiet attention can feel uncomfortable. This is why surface focus often feels fragile. It breaks easily. It requires intention, and it must be protected. But it is also the foundation. Without surface focus, nothing deeper is possible. Now let's move to the second level, sustained focus. Sustained focus is the ability to remain with one task for an extended period of time. This is where real work begins. At this level, you are no longer just starting, you are continuing. You push past the initial resistance. You stay present through boredom. You resist the urge to escape. Sustained focus feels different. At first, it feels demanding. Time seems to slow down. Your mind looks for excuses to stop. This is why most people never reach it. They mistake discomfort for inability. But discomfort is simply the sign that your attention is stretching. What blocks sustained focus is not lack of intelligence, it's lack of tolerance for boredom. The modern world teaches us to escape the moment things become slow or repetitive. But sustained focus requires you to stay, to remain with the task long enough for momentum to build. And when it does, something interesting happens. You begin to forget about time. This leads us to the third level, deep focus. Deep focus is total immersion. This is the state where the outside world fades, self-consciousness disappears, and all of your mental energy is directed toward one thing. In deep focus, work no longer feels forced. Ideas connect. Clarity emerges. Quality improves. This is where mastery is formed. But very few people ever experience deep focus regularly. Not because it's unreachable, but because it requires protection. Deep focus is blocked by constant availability, by open tabs, by interruptions, by the belief that you must always be reachable. Deep focus demands boundaries. It demands silence. It demands time. And it demands the courage to disconnect from everything else. This is why deep focus feels rare. But when you reach it, even briefly, you understand its power immediately. This audiobook is not asking you to jump straight to deep focus. That comes later. It begins by rebuilding surface focus, then extending it into sustained focus, and finally allowing deep focus to emerge naturally. Focus is not forced. It is entered. And once you understand its levels, you stop fighting your mind and start guiding it. High performers don't have more time than you. They have fewer distractions. This is one of the most misunderstood truths about success. From the outside, it looks like they are doing more. But in reality, they are doing less, with far greater intention. They understand something most people never learn. Focus is not about doing more. It's about eliminating everything that doesn't matter. The first way they protect their focus is through time blocking. High performers don't wait for free time to appear. They decide in advance what deserves their attention. They assign time to what matters most and treat that time as non-negotiable. Not urgent emails, not random requests, not endless meetings. Time blocking is not rigid scheduling. It is prioritization made visible. The second habit is boredom tolerance. This one is subtle, but powerful. High performers are comfortable being bored. They don't immediately reach for stimulation the moment silence appears. They allow their mind to stay with discomfort long enough for depth to emerge. This is rare. Most people escape boredom instantly, through phones, noise, or distraction. But boredom is the doorway to focus. If you cannot sit with nothing, you cannot stay with something. The third habit is environment control. High performers don't rely on willpower. They design their surroundings to support concentration. They remove distractions before work begins. They simplify their workspace. They create physical cues that signal, "This is focus time." Your environment is either helping your attention or draining it. There is no neutral space. And finally, there is the habit that most people avoid: saying no, aggressively. High performers understand that every yes is a hidden no to something else. They don't apologize for protecting their focus. They don't explain excessively. They don't negotiate their priorities with everyone. They choose deliberately. Not because they are selfish, but because they respect their time, their energy, and their commitments. This is what focus looks like in real life: quiet boundaries, intentional choices, less noise, more depth. High performers don't fight distraction all day. They prevent it. And that is why their progress compounds while others stay busy but stuck. Focus does not return through force. It returns through structure. You don't need extreme routines. You don't need complicated systems. You don't need to control every hour of your day. You only need a few simple anchors that gently guide your attention back to what matters. This is a daily system, not to overwhelm you, but to support you. Let's begin with the morning. The morning clarity ritual. The first moments of your day set the tone for your attention. Before the world speaks to you, you must speak to yourself. This ritual is simple. When you wake up, before checking your phone, before consuming information, take a few quiet minutes. Ask yourself one question. What is the single most important thing I can focus on today? Not 10 tasks, not a long list, just one. Write it down if you can, or hold it clearly in your mind. This one act creates direction. It tells your brain what deserves priority before distraction arrives. Now let's move to the second anchor, the one priority rule. Every day, choose one task that truly matters. This is the task that moves your life forward, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's slow. If nothing else gets done, this task must. You protect time for it. You return to it when attention drifts. You finish it before the day ends. This rule reduces mental noise, because clarity eliminates confusion. When you know what matters most, everything else becomes optional. The third anchor is what most people ignore: the distraction shutdown window. Your mind cannot focus deeply if it is constantly on alert. So each day, choose a window of time where distractions are deliberately removed. Phones silent or out of reach. Notifications turned off. No switching, no checking. Even 60 to 90 minutes is enough. This window is not about productivity. It is about training your attention to stay. Over time, your resistance decreases. Your depth increases. And finally, we end the day gently. The evening mental reset. Before sleep, your mind needs closure. If you carry unfinished thoughts into the night, they follow you into the morning. So take a few moments to mentally release the day. Acknowledge what you completed. Accept what remains unfinished. And remind yourself that tomorrow has its own space. This simple act calms the nervous system and restores mental clarity. This daily system is not about perfection. Some days will be messy. Some days will be distracted. That's normal. What matters is returning, again and again, to these simple anchors. Because focus is rebuilt not in dramatic moments, but in quiet, daily practice. Focus is more than a productivity skill. It is a form of self-respect. Every time you choose where your attention goes, you are telling yourself what you value. You are deciding what deserves your energy and what does not. When you protect your focus, you are keeping a promise to yourself. And when you break focus repeatedly, even in small ways, those broken promises accumulate. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly. Over time, they shape how you see yourself, You begin to expect distraction. You begin to anticipate quitting. You begin to doubt your own follow-through. This is why focus is tied so deeply to identity. People who trust themselves are often people who finish. They may move slowly, they may take breaks, but they return. They complete what they start. And that identity, someone who finishes, is built one focused moment at a time. Not through motivation, not through intensity, but through consistency. Every moment you protect your focus, you vote for the person you want to become. You are saying, my time matters, my attention matters, my future matters. This is not about being perfect. It's about being aligned. When your actions match your intentions, self-respect grows naturally. And with self-respect comes confidence. With confidence comes calm. And with calm comes clarity. Focus is not just something you do, it is something you become. Now take a moment. Let everything you've heard settle. No need to plan. No need to act immediately. Just breathe. Focus is not mastered in a day. It is cultivated over time. Gently, patiently, through return, not force. There will be days you drift. There will be moments you lose attention. That is part of the process. What matters is not how often you are distracted, but how often you come back. Each return strengthens the skill. Each small effort compounds quietly. You don't need to change your entire life today. You only need to protect the next focused moment, and then the next, and then the next. Over time, those moments begin to connect. They form habits. They form identity. They form a life that feels intentional. So move forward calmly, without pressure, without urgency. Trust the process. Master your focus, and the rest of your life begins to fall into place.